Now, I just want to give you an overview in terms of the first task that we need to do, which is task number one. Task number one, which is defining the opportunity, the situation, setting goals, and setting smart objective. So before we even think about which digital platform should we go into, how do we measure success, we need to establish and define what is the current situation that we're in right now in this marketplace environment. And we need to set goals. What do you want to achieve? What does our campaign wants to achieve? What does one of our services that we provide wants to achieve? If I would just go into your website right now, very quickly, this is the homepage, and you can see that the solutions that you have, all these 7 solutions. I know the focus many times is on cloud services and smart services. But the things that you have the other solutions like cybersecurity, connectivity service, data center, collaboration, BPO. So you got 7 solutions here. So when I say in terms of defining your situation, means that when I talk about situation analysis, all of us have to do a situation analysis for every one of this. So every solutions that we have, that we offer, should have its own situation analysis. Situation analysis.
David.
Yes, Yong.
The situation means what?
For example, what is the market trend right now? What is the challenges that cloud services is facing right now? And cloud services challenges, for example, they are different for cybersecurity, they're different for connectivity and BPO. So every of your solution has different situation analysis.
David, is it something like SWOT analysis?
Yes, SWOT is one of the tools and framework that we use. So same thing, when we want to establish goals, every single solution should have their own specific goals, because different solutions has a different product life cycle. They are in a different product life cycle stage. Just let me explain what I mean by product life cycle stage. Let me just port over to the blackboard. Okay, so this is another concept that we need to know. So what I mean by product life cycle here is basically, if you look at this chart here, this 2 axes here. So this is product stage or stages. And over here on the x-axis here, this is Y. On the x-axis here, you see that this is growth stage. So normally when you have a product launch itself, it tends to go up here and then it reaches to its optimum. And then what it does is that it goes down and then it goes up again and it goes down. So it has all different cycles. And sometimes product would just like be irrelevant and it would just drop dead because they have not evolved. They have become irrelevant. And this is where every time there must be innovation to achieve growth. So same thing, when you launch a new product or services, it has to be an innovation that comes in play. So this is product life cycle. So you see on the x-axis, there's the growth stage. On the y-axis, there are product stages. So product stages here, you can see that you have basically the infant stage when you first started. Then after that, you have your maturity stage. And then you have your declining stage. Declining, or the other word is dying stage. So over here, when the product or services starts to decline, and this is where you need to have another innovation stage. So this is the life cycle of a product stages itself. So, and because of this, every goals that we set, every set goals that we define, every smart objective that we define, they have to be very specific to each of the solutions, the 7 solutions that we have. And they are unique to one another because they are on a different product stages. When we do our workbook, it has to be specifically for one solution, So one workbook equals to one solution. One workbook equals to one solution. You cannot have like one workbook and do for all 7. Now we are looking at how to define opportunities and situation. Why do we need to define opportunities? Before you even, for example, brainstorm your blog post or your next topic that you want to do, for example, an ebook, it means that first of all, you got to start to identify the realistic numbers. And this is so important that you need to do this because it shows the price at the end of the day, all the efforts that you need to do. Because as we know, it's really about developing content that is personalized, developing content that can use to measure the engagement. So a lot of work needs to be done in order for us to get our sales leads. So we got to measure and set our goals. How many leads do we need to get? Remember about the MQL, marketing qualified leads. So the first thing that we need to do is go to set up, we got to establish for one solution, it could be cloud services or connectivity or data center. We got to set goal. How many MQLs or how many fishes do we want to catch in the fishing expedition? How many visitors are you able to drive to your website and all the different landing pages? So landing pages, let me explain a little bit about landing pages here. Landing pages, basically pages within the website. So a website is like a book. So within the book itself, there are many chapters or pages within the website itself. Within those pages, there are specific landing pages. I call it LP1, LP2, LP3. So when a particular visitor comes to our website, if they come to our website from typing in Google TM1, then they will land into where? Our homepage. This homepage has a lot of information that is not specific to any one of the solution. Yes, you have your 7 solutions in here, but it's not a landing page. This is a homepage. So whenever we develop a campaign specifically for cloud services, for instance, we have to put our landing page, like for example, very specific for campaign for cloud services, we have to design and dedicate one landing page for cloud services. If we have another campaign, we will do one for BPO, for example. Another campaign landing page for, say, for example, any recommendation anyone wants to suggest? Connectivity, right? So the things that this goes on. So how many landing pages should we have for each of this campaign, for each of the solutions that we have? How many? From LP1, landing page 1 to how many?
7.
7. Minimum 7. So you see right now, there's a lot of work because every single landing pages is for one particular solution. And every landing pages, every campaign landing page has a goal that you need to set, has an objective and a KPI to measure. So we need to establish that. So this is what landing pages is for. Let me just go back to this one here. So this is where we got to look at right now, the pyramid of defining our vision, our goal, our objective, our CSF. CSF stands for critical success factor. What are the critical success factor? And what are the KPIs? What are metrics and all these things? So the first thing that we need to do right now is we need to set the metrics itself. You can see over here, this is what a customer lifecycle model is. And we need to map our digital strategy initiative to this B2B, business to business customer lifecycle. Customer lifecycle is very key for us to identify what are the gaps on our current digital marketing initiatives. So obviously the things that you can see, there are opportunities for us because when there are gaps, there's always opportunity. So you see a lot of process. So let me explain this one here. So I want to draw your attention to the star. At the beginning in the customer life journey cycle, what our main tasks need to do is to generate demand and look at the purchase intent. Typically, there are 6 ways we can generate leads. We can generate MQL. And one of them is newspaper. So yeah, you probably tell me that nowadays, who read newspapers? But a lot of people go to the newspaper portal. Like, for example, star.com, Age, Berita Harian, Harian Metro. You have your Chinese vernaculars, like, for example, the Sinjujipo, the Nanyang Sampao. Everyone has a website portal. This will basically gives you the reach to create awareness. I find that the newspaper portals is a very good way to reach lots of people. The other one that we look at is display ads. So display ads like, for example, Google Display Network. gives you an extensive reach. So you have even Facebook, when you place the Facebook ads, they also have other partners who are publishers on websites, which you can actually tap into their network. So typically display is called programmatic advertising. And then you have search, and then you have SEO, which is very much driven by content marketing. And then you have influencer outreach. These are basically on the first stage of the customer lifecycle. You look at basically this part of the initiatives. The things that as you work on defining your opportunities, you got to look at, for example, for a specific solution, what are the platforms that you are using right now to get your leads, to create lead generation? And how do you know whether those people have the intention to subscribe to your products? And then this is the first stage, which is under reach here. After that, you have done this, you have identified what are the gaps. Say, let's say, for example, you have done a lot of paid search PPC. And this is where you find that search is what you're using right now, but you are not advertising in display network. You are not advertising in the newspaper portal. So newspaper portal, it's possibly could be one opportunity that you can write on besides search PPC.
Can I ask, when you say advertising on news portal, right? Is
Yes.
it the same as when we do programmatic? Does it get displayed on news portal as well, or do we need to like arrange separately with the media house to get our ad on their news portal?
Okay, so the things that if you are working with media house, like for example, Media Prima. So under the Media Prima group itself, you have your NSTP group, you have the television, you have radio, outdoor, and content creation. For example, the NSTP group itself, like New Straits Times, you could go directly to them because they will have all their premium inventory. So like, for example, they have premium inventory means that they could do branded content and have a specific page for your particular brand or your solution itself. And whereas you can see here under this display ad here, you can see here Bellroll, you can see that they actually do a tied up with Google Display Network, which is basically ads by Google. So meaning that there are two ways for you to work with the newspaper portals. One, if you want premium inventory, display inventory, you go directly to them, or you work with your media agencies. And I want to find out their website analytics, like how many people goes to there, what's their profile, and also how much time they spend, what are their interests and things like that. And the other way that you can also go, if you want to have cost effectiveness, that means you want to buy cheap, affordable inventory. Then you work on Google Ads and you go through the Google Display Network. When you buy into Google Display Network, you might not be very specific that says, I want to advertise in nstp.com. You can't. You probably say that this is my target group, and Google Display Network will use this algorithm to reach and serve the ads according to your targeted buy. Whether it's a Google Ads or whether it's going directly to the newspaper portal, the difference, one is premium inventory, the other one is cost-effective, cheap inventories. So let's come back to this part here. Under the consumer life cycle stage number one, which is reach, if you identify that print, display, SEO, and content marketing and influence marketing is something that you have not been doing, say, for example, smart services, this becomes your opportunity. And then after you have put in the opportunity on the customer life cycle stage, which is reach, then you move on to the next one here, which is act. So again, say for example, for smart services, you are not using social media, you don't have a landing page at the top of the funnel, but you have a home page, you have a product page, and you're not doing remarketing, and you're not doing conversion rate optimization, but you are having a live chat, you have some of the marketing automation. So what it does is that under the opportunities, because social media becomes your opportunity, and your top of the funnel landing page becomes your opportunity, and then so forth and so forth under conversion, and then engage.
Can I get one clarification? When you
Yes,
say
Sabrina.
opportunities, what about if those particular things, we have done it, but there is room for improvement or optimization? Is that an
No,
opportunity as well?
that's not an opportunity. That one is under optimization.
I see. So opportunities really refer to something that we have not done at all.
Absolutely, yes.
I see. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yeah, so you've got to be clear the things that we've been doing, and the things that we have not been doing. So the things that we have not been doing, that becomes an opportunity within each of the stages in the life cycle. The things that we have done, later part in our training sessions, we'll talk about optimization. In fact, that's the last stage, optimization.